Okay, now we have to talk about functions. Right now, what is a function? What is a function? Oh, method. What is a method? Or what is a function? Can someone tell me what is a function or what is a method? Yes, what is a function in programming? Yes, any idea? What do you mean by a function in programming concept? The function means right now a sequence or set of commands, set of statements which can be reused by calling the function name. The function has a name. Therefore, by calling the name, you can execute set of instructions, set of statements, set of guidelines again and again when required. Therefore, you can reuse the code by making it as a function. Therefore, rather copying and pasting the same code again and again and again, you could reuse the code. Right now, for an example, now we are calling if you want to display something, we call print. And then we are calling a method, print method. Now that means by calling the method print, we are reusing whatever the statements. Right now, therefore, remember function is set of lines, set of codes, set of statements which runs when it is called. Right. Therefore, let's see how to create a function and how to invoke a function. We'll see. Right now, in order to declare a function in Python, right now we have to use the keyword def, define or definition, right? Def, and let's say hello. Right now, say hello is a function name. Since it is a function, you need to use open bracket and close brackets, round brackets. You know, define it as a function and colon because no brackets are used here, like other programming languages, no brackets. Then what are the statements you want to have here? Then you can say print hello from the student, print hello hello, print hello, hello from the student, hello. Right. Then if you want to call this function, you can just need to call say hello. When you call say hello, right now let's save this as index.py, the desktop. I'll save it and see. Start. Yes, right now you can see this is how you can invoke the function. Now the function name is say hello, and here not only one line, you can have a hello again, hello again, hello. Right. Right now, this is how you can create a function and call it. Right now, likewise, when it comes to a function may return a value. You can have function to return a value, and function may take some values here. Then functions may take values like print method. The print is a method, a print is a function we are calling. And then print function, we are passing a parameter here. See, this is an argument. We pass the string value as an argument because print function is declared to accept string values as parameters. Now here we are passing an argument. Therefore, functions can be declared to act with parameters. Functions can be declared with parameters, right? Then here, let's declare the same function. Okay, this is how you do it. This is how you declare a function with no return type, no parameters. Then I'm going to have say hi. Um, here I'm going to have a name for that. Like, therefore, I'm going to pass a name. Then I'm going to say whatever the name, I'm going to say name says hi. Right. Right. Then if I want to call this say hi method, right now you can see here it is declared with a parameter. This is a parameter. Now at the function definition, this is what you call as the parameter. And at the time you invoke, here this is what you call as an argument. Now you are passing an argument, Jane Doe. As a string you are passing. Now here now if you pass as a string, then this would be a string variable. Right now then string value get assigned to this variable. If you run this now, it says Jane Doe says hi. Because here we are passing an argument saying Jane Doe. Right now, again, if you pass like the same thing, let's say if you pass like 10, if you pass 10, no 100 here, you can say that value will be displayed. 100 says hi. Then likewise, whatever the value we are passing here will get assigned to this variable, and then here it will display this value. Right now, declaring this is what you call as parameters, function with parameters. Therefore, now if you want to call, if you want to invoke the function say hi, like say hello method, you just can't call it without passing an argument, right? Therefore, it is a must to pass an argument. Without passing an argument, you can't just call the method say hi. If you call the method say hi, it will give you an error because it says type error say hi method or function missing one required positional argument name because it requires an argument. We are not passing an argument here. Therefore, no parameter, no arguments passed because there's a parameter declared here. Then, if you want to invoke, there should be a value passed to this variable. Therefore, here you can pass a value here. Right now, if you do not pass a value, it will give you a type error. Right now, this is how you pass a value. Right. Right now, try out. Right now, passing multiple values. Let's say right now, I'm gonna pass multiple values, f name and l name. I'm passing multiple values. Then I'm gonna say full name is I'm gonna pass f name and l name. Right now, if you pass two values. Now, if you pass only one, again it will give you an error because it is required. Right now, two parameters are there. Therefore, we have only passed one. Therefore, one missing argument that is for the L name because the first one you passing will be taken to the F name. The second one you need to pass. Therefore, John Doe. Then you can see it will display like this. Right. Okay. Now write a function with take two numbers and then returns the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Basic mathematical operation. You pass two numbers and then it will return only the let's say addition, only return addition. Write four functions to return addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, quickly do it.
So can you please repeat the question? Do we need to create four functions?
Yeah, four functions. Four functions. Create four functions. With every function should have two parameters, right?
Okay.
First number and the second number, and then you need to perform accordingly.
Okay, sir.
Uh, okay, now I have received three answers. We'll see. Now, what I want you to do right now, I want you to write a function to get the right. Okay, let me copy the answers from one of your answers. Show total, show difference, show multiplication, show division. You get the N1 and N2, right? You have the 10 and 6, right? You will get like this. Okay. Then, right now, I want you to edit one function and pass the operator as well. Let's say here three parameters is, let's say, get values or something, get result, so calculate result, cal result. Method name is cal result, you pass n1, n2, or I'm going to say x, y, and the operator, OPR. Then I want you to write the whatever the code behind here. Here, inside this. Now I'm going to call right now calculate result method. I'm going to pass here. You are taking n1 and n2, no, n1, n2, and plus minus multiplication, division, and the modulus, and the flow division. Right. Okay, if I pass these operators, now I want you to edit this function, write the codes for the function in order to handle this. Right, finish. How to do that? Quickly tell me. Send me the answers for this one quickly. Anyone? How can I do that? Like now, based on the operator you are getting, how can you do this now? How can you do it? Hello? Are you there?
1 minute, sir.
Yes, it's very easy now, right? What you have to do right now, we have to have a if condition then. If OPR is equals to if OPR is equals to plus, we need to say result is equals to x plus y. Likewise, you could check else if the operator is equals to abstraction, we have to do abstraction. If it is a multiplication, we can perform the product, and then if it is the division, we can do the division. If it is, we can get the remainder. If it is 4 division, then we have like this. And otherwise, we can say result is equals invalid operator. Right. And then afterwards, we need to okay, now, okay, right now here, if you want, you can have print method. The result is, you can have, a result. Likewise, we can have it. Right, then, right now, let's say now here, I want to return a value. Then here I want to return the results. I want to return a value from here. Then I want to return whatever the value, the result value I want to return. Not like this. I don't want to display it here. I want to return it. Then, okay, we'll try how to return a value as well. Right. Now, are you okay with this? You understood this? Is it? Right. Then, Okay, now right now we discuss about if we have multiple parameters. These are the parameters, right? In the function, these are the what these declared variables you call as parameters here. At the calling method, here values you are passing here we call as an argument. If the function declared with three parameters, then you must pass three arguments. Right now, let's see what's gonna happen if you pass multiple arguments. We'll see. Okay. Right now, let's see how to do this. Right. Say hi. Let's get back to the say hi method. Say hi, and then if you have, let's say, f name. All right, you have declared only one parameter there. Hmm. Right now, let's see. We'll take the inputs later on. If you call the method by passing multiple values, let's say Jane, comma, do, Smith. Right. Now you can see here, it says what now? Right, it takes only one argument. It takes only one, that's on one parameter declared. So therefore, it takes only one argument, but three were given. You have passed three. Therefore, since you have passed three, then it also not work. Therefore, if you assume that user may pass multiple arguments than defined, then you can put an asterisk here. If you put an asterisk here, then all the arguments will be taken. And all the arguments would be taken. Then, okay, what is this argument's type? Let's see. What is the type of this variable? Let's say type is for the f name. Right now, you can say it takes as a tuple. Right now, here I am passing multiple arguments. Therefore, I am passing multiple arguments here. Then I have declared it with an asterisk here because I don't know how many number of arguments user may pass. I have no clue. Therefore, I have just put an asterisk there because I have no clue that how many arguments will be passed. Then, if we pass more than the defined number of parameters, then it would be considered, it will be taken as a tuple, and then it would be displayed like this. Right now, if you want, right, you can, let's say, if you, for an example, you can figure out by print f name, and then here you can have the zeroth index, first index, likewise. Okay, you can have first. Likewise, you can have, then it will display only the second value you have passed. Right now, if it is 0, only the 0th value we have passed. Likewise, here you can access. Now, this you already know about the tuples, right? Now, accessing the by index, you already know. Therefore, there's nothing to worry about it. Now, then only concern is here. If you have no clue that user will pass, how many arguments user will pass, if you have no idea, then you better put it as an asterisk, because in order to set it as arbitrary arguments, because you don't know the number of arguments, therefore you put an asterisk here, then the arguments will be taken as a tuple. Right now, what happens if you do not pass arguments? If you do not pass arguments, right now, you can say again no errors will be given, because here you don't know exactly whether user will pass an argument or not. Then it will say name an empty tuple, because the tuple has no values now, right? Okay, what happens now? Here you have name, and you have the name, and you have the other names, right? Other. You have no clue. Then here you're gonna say fake name, and you're gonna say other names. Right now, if you have mentioned it like this, if you put it like Jane and with Ray Denver. But likewise, if you have put it like this, now you can see now. Okay, if name is not done, name. Right. Then the name, like first argument, whatever the value you are passing, Jane will be taken to the name, and the rest of the values will be taken to the other. Then Anne Smith and Ray Denver will be taken to the this parameter, which is an arbitrary parameter, because you don't know that number of arguments you will get. Right? And then if you have name and L name, you will say first name is name. Right, then I'm gonna say here, if you want, you can pass the arguments like this. Let's say L name equals 2 and F name is equals to J. Right now you can see whatever the order, it doesn't matter now. Previously, when you do not, when you pass the values by, when you pass the values by the arguments right now, then it will be taken according to the order of the arguments you have passed. But if you pass the named arguments, if you pass the named arguments, right now you are passing the name by you, you pass the value by the argument by the name. Like you have say F name here, Jane, L name. Like as you pass by the name of the argument, then if the order doesn't matter now, then it would be assigned to the respective variable. Okay, try out this like now for the calculator thing. You can try out.
So what do we need to do now?
Yeah, that you need to try out with the previous example with the calculator. Right now, we just pass the number one, number two, and the operator like in order. Just you can have mix of values and see without with the keyword arguments without sending an according to an order. Oh, let
Okay.
me give some other questions as well. Hmm. Right, let's say now I want to write a method, write a function to pass list of numbers and display the numbers, uh, calculate the total, max and the min. Display the numbers, display the total, display the numbers, display total, max and the min. Right. Now this time you need to pass a list as an argument, right? And then you need to display the number of all the values, and thereafter total, max, min, and the average. Total, average, max, and the right. Quickly do it. Finish? Does it take much time? I don't think so. Why? Right now, what you have to do? Right now, we have to pass values. Right now, so define get result. Okay, get list. And here you have, let's say, you are passing my list to here, and then you can have four I in list, my list. You're gonna print, and then you have min equals if you can check if min is greater than, if min is greater than the x, min equals x. If max is smaller than x, max is x. Total plus equals x. And then we can have, we can say total max and min, and thereafter you can say the average, you can say. You can say total divided by size of the my list. Let's say we have list entry is equals to 10, 25, right. Now, here, what's the problem here? Right, colon is missing there. Print x, print I, no, then it should be here, let's change it to x. Right now, how can you get the size of a list? I don't know how to get the size. I can't remember. How can you get the size of the list? Number of arguments? There's no method called size. There's a method called what? Starting from L? Len, yes. Right. Then it will give you the maximum is this, minimum is this, likewise. Right. Now, this is how you iterate through a list as well. Right. Now, okay, you have sent me the answer as well, right? Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, you can. You should have passed the values like here as well, right? Okay. Then, if you want to return a value, let's say you want to return the total. You want to return the total. You need to display it, and you need to return the total of it. If you want to return the total, then you would say return total. Now, if you say return total, right now here you can see this would work, but nothing will happen here. Therefore, because the get list here, this value will return a value here. Now that is the total. Right now, if you want, you could call this inside the print method, and then you can exactly see the value it returns. Here you can see the total. It returns as 349. If you don't want to do it like this, you could, let's say we have variable called x, then the next variable will get 349 because this is how you declare a function to return a value. That is how you declare function to return a value. Right now, can you write a function to get a name, and then inside that name, write how many vowels are there? Return the number of vowels inside that function. Return the number of vowels inside the name. Whatever the name you are passing, how many vowels are there? Right? Send me the answer quickly. How many vowels in the given name? That's what you have to do. Right now, let's see. Okay, I have received the answer as well. How does it work? Count vowels. Okay, your name was there. Right. So, right, if I dot upper in AIU. Right, good. Now we know how to return a value, and then we know how to pass arguments with keywords, and then arbitrary arguments that you know. Right. And if you want to write a function without the body, that means still you have not figured out what you're going to have inside the function right now. If you just want to, let's say we have a count powers function, and then you just need to um, declare the function. That's it. Right, then you can use a pass keyword. If you use the pass keyword, um, that is to set it as no body statements declared yet. Right. Right now, let's say now here we can see right recursive functions also we could discuss right now, calling the function again and again until it reaches to a its base case, or what you call the base condition, or the initial condition. You call it as the recursive function. And let me show you recursive function. Right now, okay, first of all, let's say we know the factorial value already, right? I think we have already used the factorial value calculated using um, the for loops and so on. Right now, for an example, you know factorial 5 means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. And if it is factorial 2 means 2 into 1. Likewise, therefore, write a function, try writing a function to calculate the factorial value. Try to calculate the factorial value. Right now, factorial function, now you could write it as n factorial means n into n minus 1 factorial, n into n minus 1 factorial. If it is n number factorial, means n into n minus 1 factorial, or else you could write it as like n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into likewise n minus 2 into 2 into 1. Likewise, you could write. Therefore, think of this and then try to figure out the how to calculate the factorial value. Define factorial. Let's say we're gonna get the number here, and I'm gonna declare results equals 1. Then I'm gonna have 4 I in range up to n, then up to n, not require n plus 1. Not should not start from 0, therefore 1 comma n plus 1. Then I'm gonna say results multiply equals I, and then return result. And then here I'm going to call the factorial function by factorial. Okay. We can have integer x equals, not integer x equals int input that number. Define factorial. Okay. Save it. We're going to ask you to enter the value, and then we're going to display print factorial and we're gonna have x is, now we have to call the factorial function, and we'll call the function factorial by passing the x value here. Right. If it is factorial 5, it shares 120, 4 is 24, if it is 3 is 6, if it is 2 is 2, 1 is 1, and if it is 0, right now it says 1. Factorial 0 is 1, because even the problem is, even if I enter negative value, it would say answer is 1, because factorial values are not declared for the negative values. Then that is not validated, because we have set the result equals 1 and the for loop starting I value from 1 to what is the given number. Therefore, anyway, it will return 1 as a result, because uh, factorial values are not defined for the negative values. Right. Therefore, that you have to handle if you want. Right. Now, for the time being, I just wanted to show you how to handle the factorial value, how to calculate it using a for loop. Right. Then, how to do it using a recursive function. A recursive function, factorial. Let's say now I'm gonna factorial a, and then it's a factorial b. Right now, how to calculate the factorial value using a recursive function? Then first of all, you need to have an idea what do you mean by the recursive function? What is a recursive function? A recursive function means a function which calls the same again and again until it reaches to the base condition or the initial condition. Therefore, function call itself again and again, right, until it reaches to the initial condition or the base condition. Okay, now here, how can you write the factorial value using a for loop, not a for loop, using a recursive function? Then we could say, right, if the factorial value right now here, and then we can say, see, if the factorial, if n value is equals to 0, we can say return 1. If n equals 0, return 1. And if n equals 1, also return 1. Therefore, we can say n equals 0 or n equals 1, return 1. Else, we can say return we can return n multiplied by factorial b. Function name is factorial b. No? Factorial b, we need to call it for n minus 1 value. Factorial n minus 1. Right now, for an example, you can see this is how you could do it using initial recursive function. Now, if n equals 0 or n equals 1, it will return 1. Otherwise, it will return n multiplied by factorial n minus 1. For an example, if you call 5, then this can happen by, if you call 5 multiplied by factorial 4. And then factorial 4, a new call will be initiated from here, then it would return 4 multiplied by factorial 3. And again, when you call factorial 3, that would return 3, and again it would call factorial 2. And when you call factorial 2, then it will return 2, and it will call factorial 1. And once it calls the factorial 1, this condition has if n equals 1 or n equals 0, return 1. Therefore, it would return 1. Then you multiply 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Bottom to top approach, you will get the answer. That is how it works for the using the recursive function way. Right. Right now, there's another one called Fibonacci series. How can I explain that Fibonacci series? Right, there's one called Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series is like this is the Fibonacci series relationship you can see. And the Fibonacci series is this Fibonacci value is the sum of the previous two Fibonacci values. And the starting values are Fibonacci 0, F1. Fibonacci 0 is considered as 0 and Fibonacci 1 considered as 1. Then the next value is taken by 0 plus 1 is 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. 13 plus 8 is 21. Likewise, this is how you calculate the Fibonacci values. The first term of the Fibonacci is F0, which is 0, and F1 is 1. Those are the initial conditions. Therefore, now the next Fibonacci value is taken by Fn value is equals to Fn minus 1 value plus Fn minus 2 value. Right now, these are the Fibonacci values. Can you try out if I ask you to find what is the Fibonacci? Let's say now this is a Fibonacci 5 value. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the F5? The Fibonacci 5 value is 5. What is the 5 value? You can say this is 0th one, first value, second value, third value, fourth value, and fifth value. This is the Fibonacci fifth value. Fibonacci sixth value is 18. Okay, try to write a function to calculate the Fibonacci value for the given. If you ask user to get what is Fibonacci 10 value, what is the Fibonacci 10? Then Fibonacci 10, you need to display it as Fibonacci 10 is 50. If Fibonacci 8, which is 21, like this. Okay, try to come up with the pattern and to represent the Fibonacci values, right? And the same way, we could write the what we just finished, which is the factorial. Factorial also we could write it as, I don't know about the brackets, right? Then we'll draw the brackets later, and then if n equals 0, return n, return n, and n into n minus 1 factorial. If n equals 0 or n equals 1. When is greater than 1, doing this. Right, now this is how you calculate the factorial as well. Right, now this is how you calculate the factorial value. Right, this is a mathematical relationship or the recursive relationship for the factorial. And this is the relationship for the Fibonacci series. Now try to get the calculate the Fibonacci series. Okay, now no need of this. We did not verify this might require. Okay, and let's clear this as well. Right, then, okay, and if fine, right now, how can you do that? You can do it using if can do for loops as well. That's up to you to try out. Mhm. How would you do that? For in range. Okay, let's see. There's a function. I'm going to copy that. Fibonacci and return 0 plus 2 return 1. Okay, Fibonacci 10 values. Fibonacci 0 is 0, then you could display 0, I. Fibonacci 9 is 34, is it? Right. Now you can see Fibonacci 9 is 34. Right. See, that is how 34, 21, 13, 8, 34, 21, 13, 8. Like this is how you calculate it. Right, now this is how you work with the recursive function. Now you can see function call the same itself, function call itself until, now that every time you call the function, initially if it is for n, then you call it for n minus 1 until it reaches to the initial condition. Right now, once it reaches to this, it will stop. Right now, that is what you call as the recursive function. Right. Okay, then I'm going to talk about how to declare classes. Now we know how to declare functions. Right, therefore, let's see how to declare class. Right now, if you want to create a class, let's say class, you have to use the keyword class. Right, remember C is not capital, simple CLAS class. Right, you have to in order to create a class, you have to use the keyword class followed by the class name. Let's say test. Okay, you can have class student, and then we can have a name variable. For that name, agent do id sid equals 101. Likewise, you can declare a class with variables, right? And then um, thereafter we can have the methods also available in the class. First, we'll see how to create a student class object and how to work with the object. Right now, if you want to create an object from the class, now you have to say sc equals class name is student. Then you have to say student. Right. Sc equals student, and then if you want, you can say print. You can say the name of the student if you want to display the name. You can call it the name. And if you want to get the ID of the student ID, s.sid. Likewise, you'll be able to get the name and the ID. Right now, this is how you use the um, values. Right now, if you want to have a function also, that also possible. You can have define, say hi, and print to Jane. Say okay, student says hi. Okay, try calling the method also by calling s dot say hi, whether it works or not. Oh, just see whether does it work when you call s dot say hi. Now you get an error. What is that error? It says the student dot say hi takes zero positional argument. It takes zero positional argument, but one was given. Have we passed a value? Right now, have we passed a value here? One argument? No, right? Then why it is? Right now, in every class, whether you declare it or not, there is a function called right now init function. Right now, init. Or like in other terms, you call it as a constructor. Now that is used to assign values to the object properties. Now that is used to assign values to the object properties. Right. Therefore, and now we'll see how to create the init function. Right now, if you want to define the init function, that you could do it using define init, define init. And then here, let's say we have to pass a value here. Let's say x, that is a self variable. Right now, that you call as a self variable. Right now, here if you also just pass x, that's it. Now, here what does it say? Now, when I try to say print name, s dot name, right? Now, what does it say? Right now, it says there is no attribute called name. Right. Why there's no attribute called name? Because here we have not mentioned like this is the name. Likewise, its attributes we have not assigned. You can see. Now here we need to pass the value. Right now that value is the here. You can have any name for this one. Right now this variable called as the self parameter. Now this is self parameter. This is the purpose of this is to this is the reference. This is the reference to the current instance of the class. This is the reference to the current instance of the class for this instance. Now that's why here we got an error. Right. Now even if you want to say print the name here, if you just say name says hi, then rather saying student says hi, if you say name says hi, if you say, you will get an error saying what is the name. Name is not defined. But if you say x dot name says hi, then you can say you are referring to this instance, this object name variable, this object name variable. Right now, this is how it works. Therefore, right, when you call a function, when you create a class object, when you create a class object, this function get called automatically. Therefore, the init function is called automatically every time the class is when you are using a particular class to create an object. When you are creating an object from a particular class, the init function get executed every time. Init function get executed every time. Therefore, init function is a built-in function, right? Therefore, all classes have the function called init. All the classes have the function called init, right? Therefore, that will always get executed when you create an object. Then we in other languages we call it as a constructor, default constructor. Likewise, then here init function. Now that is to assign values to the object properties. Right now that is to assign values to the object properties. Now this is the init function. Right now, if you do not have the init function, there's the inbuilt init function. Right. So try out this. And also let's try to print the student object and see how will it print. Now, when you print a student object, now it will print like from the main dot student object at this reference. When you use the string function, the str function, that means when you print a string object, that will print what is the when which object is represented. That means now this object is represented in string. Then you can say this is the string representation of the object. This is the string representation of the object. If you don't want to display like that, if you don't want to display like that, right now this is what it displays. No, this is the default string representation of an object. If you don't like it, then you could change that as well by changing the default implementation of the string function, which is str. Then you can say whatever you want return. You can say student object. Let's say jndo. If you just say return jndo, right now it would return jndo. When you print object, it would display jndo. If you want to say student object, you can say student object, or likewise whatever you want to say, and plus right now student object jndo. Likewise it will print. Now this is how you use the default init function, and this is the string function. Str function is the string representation of an object, and init is uh, the the constructor or the initialization function.
So, sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if we are defining a function inside a class, should we always define the init function also?
No, you don't have to. If you do not declare, let's say, but if you are okay, even you don't have to declare this str function or the string representation, right? And if you want to access these variables right now, if you say hi, and if you want to use the name here, if you just use the name, you will not be able to access it. Then it says take zero positional arguments, but one was given. Why? Because we need to refer to the current object. Let's say you can use I, and we are using I, and then here you have to say I dot name. That means current instance. You are calling as current instance. Since the str function is not implemented, here this would print like this because this is the default implementation uh, of an object. This is the default string representation of an object. If you want to change it, then you have to come up with the str function. Then you need to have whatever the way you want. When you print an object, whatever you want to display, you have to declare it there.
So
Right
in
now,
that
here you
define,
can have I any name you can have. This is the self preference, right? This I means the self preference. In this case, now here X means the self preference. Therefore, I don't use different variable names. Just get it to stick into a one. Then if it is X, then everywhere use X. Or you can type self. Self means this current instance. This value we call as a self parameter. Is that clear?
so if we have a function inside the class, we should give any name for that parameter.
Yes, there should be a default parameter. If you want to access these the class properties.
Okay, sir.
If you don't want to access the class properties, you don't need it.
Okay,
If you want to just say hi, then you don't need it.
okay, sir.
No, unique hi. Don't say hi also. It says you need it.
Okay,
You need it. It's a must.
okay. Thank you.
My bad. So okay. Okay, try create a function called vehicle, have some attributes. and define the init function, define the init function. Let me show you the init as well. Right, define the init function for the vehicle class and the string function and some values called start, stop, likewise, and calculate fuel consumption likewise, and declare some variables and then display the values. Up to you. Here, this is how right now. Previous it was like this one. Right now, here you can change the object properties here. Object properties by calling the object name dot the property name like this. And even here, rather having hard coded values here previously it was like this, and we have some values, right? Therefore, rather having hard coded values here, you can pass the values into here by passing as the argument. Now here you can declare the parameters, and here you need to pass the values. Right now, if you want, you can pass the name as John Smith, and then the ID as ID1001. Likewise, you can pass the values. Right now you can see here what is the value we are passing here, it goes into here, and that value get assigned to this, right? Even if you want, you can have the same name. That's right. Doesn't matter because this is the parameter. This is the object property. And now that is how you create an instance from a class. And that is how you change. Even still, you can change. If you want, you can change s dot name equals, and if you want to change it to and, that is possible. You can change it to and by using the object name and the property name. And even if you don't want the name property anymore, if you don't want the name property anymore, you could say you can delete it as well. How can you delete it? You can say delete s dot name. Right now, thereafter, delete property name is no longer available because that has been deleted already. Here, let me display before I delete it. It will display the name and thereafter it is removed. Therefore, the property has been removed. And this is how you remove a property, as well as if you want to remove the entire object. Now, with the delete keyword, you have to say delete s. Delete s will remove the entire object. Therefore, you can see s is not defined. You will no longer be able to access s. Why? As the object has been removed. Right now, remember that in your mind as well. Okay, right now you can send me the question I asked you to do. Create a class called vehicle and then have some attributes and have some methods and then display those. Right, then let's do it like this. Let's create a class called bank account. You need to have the owner, account holder, the owner. It's easier to declare, no? Owner and the balance, and then you need to have methods called deposit, withdraw, and the display balance. Right now, when you pass deposit with an amount, it should be added to the amount account, and then you should be able to display the balance. And you withdraw, that amount should be deducted from the amount, and this should happen if only the available balance is there. And the display balance is to display the current balance. Okay, quickly create the class with these methods and these attributes, and then send it to me. Quickly send it to me. Right now, if you run this, now you can see. Initially, here if you want, you can display that account created. You can display new account created, new account created. When you run, it will say new account created, and then it would display right now. Thereafter, you could print the object and see, because we have written the string representation of this as well, right? Then that would display uh, account of John Doe, and then display balance method would display available balance is 1,000, and then if you call deposit method by depositing 500, then it says available balance is 1,500, and then you say withdraw 200, then it says 200 withdrawn, then it says available balance is 1,500 minus 200 would become 1,300. Likewise, this is how you can edit. Right. Is this clear to you, or were you able to finish it? Any questions from this?
Sir, for the exams, can we go through our notes if we need it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Open book exam.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Right. And thereafter, now I need to talk about the inheritance, and then here we have talk about inheritance.